Hi, I'm Jilly G. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make my gluten-free biscuits and gravy. And it's mushroom and sausage gravy. So first up, I have about 5 tablespoons of butter cut up into little pieces to make it a little bit easier. It's pretty firm. It's been out of the fridge, but it's still pretty firm. But before that, I have 2 cups of my gluten-free flour mix right here. And I have 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm just gonna lightly mix this with my fork here. And you wanna preheat your oven to 450. And I have a large cookie sheet here, ungreased. And for our wet ingredients, I have about 3/4 of a cup of, it's kefir, it's the cultured yogurt drink that I use in place of buttermilk, but you could just use buttermilk. And I'm just gonna mix this egg a little bit and pour into here so it's all mixed together. So that's ready. I also have, about a 2-inch round cookie cutter and about 3/4 of a cup of flour for when we roll these out. But what you want to do first is add your dry mixture to your butter and then just toss that around and then pick up the little pieces of butter and just rub it through your fingers with the flour mix. You could do this in a food processor and make it a lot faster and easier, or even 2 knives or a pastry blender, but this is good. And once all of your butter is mixed in and it looks kind of like breadcrumbs, so now we're ready to add our dry ingredients. Now we're ready to add our wet ingredients. And I just have a little spatula. And just kind of make a little bit of a well here. Slowly add in your wet ingredients. And just mix this till it's all combined. We're going to knead it a little bit. And it's okay if there's a little bit of flour on the bottom, because we're going to mix it all together right here. So just sprinkle a little bit of flour. You don't want a whole lot. And just plop this out onto your surface. Just to sprinkle a little bit more flour on there. And just kind of bring it together. Keeping it moving. And you don't want to pack it, but just kind of lightly pat it together. And I'm just patting it out. I'm not going to roll it. Sprinkle a little bit more flour if it's too sticky. And with your cookie cutter, get as many as you can. Dipping your cutter in flour as needed. A little bit more flour, and then just bring it back together. Pat it out again. I think I can get 2 more out of what's left here. That's about 12 biscuits or so. If you make them a little bit thicker, you'll get less, but you don't want them too thin. I think I can get 1 more. I'm not even going to use the cookie cutter for this one. There. So these will go into the oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. While they're in the oven, I'll show you the gravy. So put your sausage into a frying pan on medium-high. And cook that till it's almost all the way done. Then add in your mushrooms, salt and pepper, and stir those around. And when those are all cooked, sprinkle in 2 tablespoons of flour and stir that around. And while stirring, slowly add in 2 cups of milk and just simmer this till it's nice and thick. And you want this to come up to a simmer so the gravy will thicken. And just keep stirring it. And this will thicken a little bit more as it cools off. Turn off your gravy. And our biscuits have been in the oven for about 8 minutes. And you want them to be done on the bottom. So get yourself a couple of biscuits here. And you can see they're not super tall, but pretty puffy. Give your gravy a stir. And just put on however much you want. It looks really good. The gravy will thicken a little bit more as it cools off, and when you reheat it, you can always add a little bit more milk if it's too thick. So let's give this a bite. It's hot. Really good. And let me show you what one looks like just by itself. Looks really good. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.